claims she tried to take over his movie because she has a history of saying, okay, I'll be the star, but what I secretly want to do is direct it and edit it and produce it. I want all the roles for me and only me. I want full control because I am a controlling bully. That Justin Baldoni, ultimately, by the time they got to the premiere, was mandated by Blake Lively to spend the night in the basement away from his co-stars and didn't even get to see the final cut of his own movie because Blake Lively insisted that she be the one to approve it.
Blake Lively graced the red carpet with the effortless elegance that had long cemented her status as a fashion icon. Cameras flashed, headlines gushed, and to the outside world, she was perfection incarnate. But beneath the flawless exterior, something was amiss. The whispers began softly, barely noticeable at first, but soon they swelled into something impossible to ignore. Behind the scenes, a storm was gathering. Allegations, fractured friendships, and looming legal threats. No amount of red carpet poise could keep it hidden for long.
The point that Justin's team is making in kind of complying with what they're viewing as threats made on her behalf against Justin is like, well, there's this financial consequence to everything in addition to the strike consequences too, right? So they filmed May to June, then shut down for the strike, and then they were down until January. But I think that the strike lifted in November, but then she had all these return to work provisions.
At the center of it all was Justin Baldoni. For months, the industry had celebrated their partnership, the perfect creative duo. Blake, the beloved Hollywood darling with an impeccable reputation, and Justin, the visionary director lauded for his emotionally charged storytelling. Together, they were set to bring to life a highly anticipated project, a passion-fueled collaboration that promised to push artistic boundaries. But now everything had changed. The smiles, the synergy, the effortless camaraderie, all of it had crumbled, leaving behind only speculation, silence, and the faint echo of what once seemed unshakable.
Complaint and the ongoing legal battle, Lively's legal team saying the experiences of Ms. Lively and others were documented at the time they occurred starting in May of 2023. Going on to write, Mr. Baldoni acknowledged the complaints in writing at the time.
The reasons behind their fallout were far more complex and far more dramatic than anyone could have imagined. It began with subtle cracks, whispers of creative differences, private meetings that didn't go as planned, and quiet tension that lingered long after the cameras stopped rolling. But soon, the whispers became headlines. Behind closed doors, there were explosive arguments, broken promises, and accusations of control, manipulation, and hidden agendas. And just when it seemed the story couldn't get messier, another bombshell dropped. A legal storm was brewing, not just between Blake and Justin, but with an unexpected new player, Kylie Jenner. Blake's latest business venture, a high-end beauty brand praised for its luxe aesthetic and meticulous marketing, had been her newest triumph, or so it seemed. With her image, influence, and loyal following, the move felt inevitable. But the comparison started almost immediately. The packaging, the branding, even the campaign rollout. It all looked familiar, too familiar. Whispers of infringement began to circulate, swelling into murmurs of legal action. Kylie, who had spent years constructing her beauty empire with ruthless precision, was reportedly not just displeased. She was preparing to fight back. And suddenly, Blake's picture-perfect poise was no longer the story. It was the storm gathering behind it.
You guys were the ones out there generating negative press against Justin. You bullies were the ones who were trying to ruin Justin so you could have your way on all the scenes and all the wardrobe and all the control, and you could feel like the producer and the director when you weren't.
The timing couldn't have been worse. With tensions between Blake and Justin already at a breaking point, the last thing she needed was another war quietly igniting in the background. But then came the most bewildering question of all. How did it all connect? Some industry insiders began to suggest that the beauty brand controversy and the fallout with Justin weren't separate stories at all. Instead, they were threads of the same tangled web, a series of strategic maneuvers, personal betrayals, and quiet retaliations. What had started as creative collaboration and entrepreneurial ambition was now unraveling into something far murkier, where every move seemed calculated and every silence deliberate.
And I think that the Justin and Blake stuff is, I think it's a big PR game, and I think that we're all the pawns of it. And also that story I gave you, that's one where I've talked to them. I feel comfortable sharing that much. Like, good luck. There's so many different groups out there.
ChatGPT said, some wondered whether Blake had launched her beauty brand at that exact moment as a calculated distraction, a way to steer the conversation away from the crumbling project with Justin. Others believed she had always planned to enter the beauty world, only to find herself treading dangerously close to the territory of an industry powerhouse. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, things were unraveling fast. The once promising project that had been the crown jewel of Blake and Justin's partnership had descended into chaos. There was no official statement, no polished press release explaining the fallout, just silence. But in that silence, the whispers grew louder. Cryptic posts appeared. Leaked messages circulated. Screenshots hinted at manipulation, backroom deals gone wrong, and a professional alliance that had turned personal and poisonous. Plop 6. Blake Lively's seemingly flawless public image began to unravel as whispers of turmoil, with director Justin Baldoni turned into full-blown scandal. Once celebrated as the perfect creative duo, their partnership collapsed amid allegations of manipulation, creative control, and betrayal. Both sides told different stories. Justin's camp claimed he was blindsided by Blake's power plays, while Blake's allies insisted she'd been misled from the start. Leaked messages hinted at backroom deals and media manipulation, blurring the line between truth and rumor. Then came another twist. Blake's new beauty brand, a luxurious, high-profile launch, drew comparisons to Kylie Jenner's empire. What began as internet chatter escalated into whispers of potential legal action. Insiders alleged that Blake's team had knowingly mirrored Kylie's branding, hoping to capitalize on her success while skirting infringement. Soon, rumors of leaked recordings and internal communications fueled speculation that the similarities weren't accidental. As the drama deepened, fans and media split into camps, some defending Blake as a victim of industry rivalry, others calling for accountability. Meanwhile, Justin's silence only added intrigue, with some suspecting he was quietly feeding the fire. Now Blake faces a perfect storm, failed partnership, a possible legal battle, and a brand in crisis. Deals hang in limbo, reputations are on the line, and the world is watching, waiting for the next revelation in a scandal that shows no sign of slowing down.